Hi, I'm Schloff from InnerSpace Explorers again. Today I would like to introduce you to Colin, who is our first American instructor. We just finished the ITC here, so from now on, if you're based in the US and you're interested in IC training, you can contact Colin. The link to reach him is in the description of the video. And we would just like to take the opportunity to clarify a few things. Actually, you want to take the opportunity because while we've been talking in the ITC, we came across the topic of tanks, weight, volume ratio, and there was a little bit of a misunderstanding popping up between the two of us, and we figured out it's more like a European-American thing, so
perfect. So, being an American diver, and really, for the most part, only diving in the Americas and the Caribbean, you will commonly come across this specific tank, the Luxfer Aluminum 80. Every American diver knows this tank well. And you know, aluminums can be dove both safely with wetsuits and dry suits in singles and doubles. However, when a lot of divers move in the US over to steel tanks, such as this, they are taught that if you're diving twin steels, you must be in a dry suit for redundant buoyancy because they're extremely heavy and you will not be able to swim them up should you have a buoyancy failure. The issue that we actually ran into here is dealing with European tanks. And I say that as more any tank outside of our little space in America and the Caribbean. A tank like this, a European 12 liter, which could be closely equated to actually an LP85, with the exception that this inflates to 3000 psi, 200 bar, actually has buoyancy characteristics quite close to an aluminum 80. So in America, we've always had the rule of thumb, as many of you know, that if you're diving aluminums, you dive wet. If you're diving steels, you dive dry. You don't break that rule for safety. But what that creates is a diver who always automatically follows a rule without being a thinking diver. So what we should be doing is actually looking at the buoyancy characteristics, both of our individual tanks as well as, if possible, the tanks that we're renting. In America, we have tanks from only a few different brands, and the specs of their buoyancies are commonly available online. And if not, you are always able to fill and empty and go to a pool and use a fishing scale to check that buoyancy. Doing so will enable you to realize that these tanks, steel tanks that in America nobody would ever think to dive with a wetsuit safely, can be commonly dove very easily with a wetsuit as no redundant buoyancy is needed because they will become positive towards the end of the dive. Would you say how much in kilograms and pounds?
This one, when it's empty, it's about 1.5 to 2 kilos negative, positive. It depends a little bit on what kind of valve and what kind of first stage, etc. you rig on it. This is a 12 liter tank, and it has 12.0 kilograms, which means the tank, except for the valve, is basically zeroed out. I mean, you have to understand that the European sizing is that you could pour in 12 liters of water to fill that tank. It's real inside capacity. Actually, when I dump it into water, as the steel has a certain thickness, it will displace more water than 12 liters, so probably 13 point something. So actually the tank itself would be positively buoyant. Then again, you have the valve and the second stage, etc., the first stage. But I can tell you that this one, if it's empty, it's slightly positive. It actually would go up to the surface. And that's, for example, why this is my side mount tanks.
Perfect. And we actually had a problem this week with me diving an aluminum backplate, just like most Americans would do when they're diving steel tanks, to be able to have less weight. However, diving an aluminum backplate with these, I could not even get down with as much weight as we could find and both pockets full of rocks. So it was quite an experience and definitely a learning experience. And I think the biggest takeaway is rules of thumbs are always right until they're wrong. And we need to develop divers into thinking individuals who know their equipment inside and out, know how everything behaves, and they don't just trust the word of others and trust the general community, because there always are exceptions to these rules.
All right. Thank you, Colin. Hope that clarified a few things. Hope you like it. If so, please give us a thumbs up. Also check out all our social media content, Instagram, Facebook, etc. If you want to discuss a little bit more and more into detail with us, check out the Patreon site. Otherwise, dive safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.